Have you ever wondered if artificial intelligence could design the perfect chest workout? I mean, robots can play chess, drive cars, and even compose music. But can they truly understand muscle mechanics, fatigue, and hypertrophy? Today, we're putting that to the test. In this video, I'll show you the workout that an advanced AI created when I asked it to build the most effective chest training plan possible, based on science, biomechanics, and hypertrophy principles. But here's the twist. I didn't stop there. I analyzed each of its recommendations and made my own adjustments based on years of practical experience in bodybuilding and strength training. Together, we'll see whether artificial intelligence really knows how to train the chest, or if human intuition and real-world experience still have the upper hand. Before we jump into the science, drop a comment below with your name and how long you've been training. It's always awesome to see who's out there pushing for progress. How the AI was tested. To start, I gave the AI a very specific prompt. I told it to act as a professional with over 2 decades of experience in strength training and hypertrophy. Then I asked, create the ultimate chest workout for a natural athlete with no joint limitations. Include exercises, sets, reps, intensification techniques, and weekly frequency. Also, explain exactly why each movement was selected and which area of the chest it targets. I didn't give it any clues. No preferred angles, no equipment limitations. Just pure freedom to create what it believed was the best workout possible. What it produced was surprisingly logical, and for the most part, biomechanically sound. But as you'll see, there were a few areas where AI reasoning lacked that human touch. So let's break down the plan it proposed. But this time, in the order I personally believe makes the most sense for complete chest development. Exercise 1. Flat dumbbell bench press. Instead of starting with incline like the AI suggested, I prefer beginning with the flat dumbbell bench press. Why? Because it allows for the most balanced activation of the sternal fibers, the thickest and most massive portion of the pectoralis major, while also offering freedom of motion that barbell presses can't match. You'll perform 4 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions, gradually increasing the load while keeping perfect control on the eccentric, lowering phase. Artificial intelligence rightly emphasized the importance of the eccentric component. Science consistently shows that slowing down the lowering phase, around 3 to 4 seconds, increases microtrauma in muscle fibers, which triggers greater adaptation. Now, here's where dumbbells shine. Unlike barbells, which fix your hands in one position, dumbbells allow you to rotate slightly inward as you press, achieving a stronger peak contraction and a deeper stretch at the bottom. The movement path becomes more natural, shoulder strain is minimized, and the chest, not the triceps, becomes the star of the show. If your goal is complete hypertrophy with minimal joint stress, this exercise deserves to open your workout. Exercise 2. Incline dumbbell press. For the second movement, we move to an incline dumbbell press, performed at a 30-45 degree angle. The AI originally put this first, but I prefer it second, after the chest is already warm and slightly fatigued. Perform 4 sets of 6 to 8 reps, increasing the load progressively. This exercise focuses on the clavicular head of the pectoralis major, the upper chest region, an area that's chronically underdeveloped in most natural lifters. AI's reasoning here was spot on. Upper chest growth brings visual fullness, improves proportion, and gives that armor plate look to your torso. However, instead of the barbell version that AI suggested, I recommend dumbbells. The reason is biomechanics. Dumbbells allow individualized shoulder rotation and path adjustment, which reduces the risk of shoulder impingement, a common issue when pressing on an incline with a barbell. An optional intensification method for advanced lifters. Use rest pause in your final set. Here's how. Go to near failure, rest 15 to 20 seconds, and push out another 2 to 3 reps. That brief pause allows partial ATP recovery, helping you extend the set beyond normal capacity and recruit deeper muscle fibers. This combination of high tension, controlled movement, and extended effort creates the perfect storm for upper chest growth. Exercise 3. Cable crossover, low pulley focus. Next, we'll move to the cable crossover, one of the most underrated chest exercises when performed with precision. The AI's version was clever. It suggested rotating pulley heights each week, high, mid, and low, to cover every chest angle. I love that logic, but I'd modify it slightly. Instead of rotating, I suggest keeping the pulleys low, around knee height, for most of your workouts. This version specifically targets the upper chest, complementing the incline press perfectly. Perform 3 sets of 12-15 reps, focusing on smooth, controlled motion and strong mind-muscle connection. As you bring the cables together, imagine drawing a diagonal line upward toward your mid-chest, not straight across. This upward path ensures that the tension aligns with the clavicular fibers of the chest. Unlike dumbbells, the cables maintain constant resistance throughout the entire range of motion, even at the top, maximizing fiber recruitment and metabolic stress. This constant tension is what makes cable work so valuable for hypertrophy. It's not about lifting heavy here. It's about precision, control, and full-range activation. Exercise 4. Decline bench press, machine or barbell. Now that the upper and middle chest have been effectively worked, it's time to bring in the decline bench press to emphasize the lower portion of the chest. Perform 3 sets of 8-10 repetitions. The AI correctly pointed out that the decline press reduces shoulder stress compared to flatter incline variations. And it's true. Biomechanically, the angle of the humerus in this position places the shoulder joint in a safer, more efficient position for pressing. That means more load on your chest and less risk to your deltoids. Another benefit, you'll often be able to handle slightly heavier weights on the decline press than on flat or incline presses, providing a fresh overload stimulus. However, practicality matters. Not all gyms have a decline setup that's safe to use alone. If you don't have access to a decline machine or proper spotter, alternatives like high pulley cable crossovers or parallel bar dips work exceptionally well for the same muscle region. The key is to choose an exercise that allows you to push to near failure with good control, and that doesn't force your shoulders into uncomfortable positions. Exercise 5. Machine fly, flat or slight incline. To finish your primary chest session, we're going to isolate the pecs with machine flies. The AI originally placed an incline fly earlier in the session, but I've moved this movement to the end for strategic reasons. After your heavy compound lifts, your triceps and shoulders will be fatigued. That makes this isolation movement perfect. It lets you continue stimulating the chest without depending on those secondary muscles. Perform 3 sets of 10-12 repetitions, keeping constant tension throughout the movement. Avoid letting the weights touch at the top. That keeps continuous load on the chest. And don't overstretch at the bottom, especially if you have shoulder issues. The great advantage of machine flies compared to dumbbells is the consistent resistance curve. With dumbbells, gravity only provides tension in one direction, and it diminishes as your arms approach the top. Machines, or cables, solve that problem, keeping the chest fully engaged from start to finish. This final stretch and squeeze movement drives blood flow into the muscle, creating that full pumped look and providing a metabolic stress that complements the mechanical tension from your presses. Exercise 6. Weighted push-ups, optional finisher. Finally, if you still have energy left, try adding weighted push-ups as a burnout finisher. Use a weighted vest, a plate on your back, or even resistance bands to increase intensity. Perform 2 sets to absolute failure. What this does is amplify metabolic stress, one of the 3 key mechanisms of muscle growth, the other 2 being mechanical tension and muscle damage. By finishing your session with this all-out body weight effort, you push the muscle to its limit, improve endurance, and enhance nutrient delivery for recovery. That said, if you're already training at very high intensity with your previous exercises, this movement is optional. Think of it as the icing on the cake, not the foundation. Weekly training structure. Now, how often should you perform this workout? The AI proposed training the chest twice a week, with at least 3 days of rest between sessions. That's a smart frequency, supported by current research showing that training a muscle twice weekly can produce greater hypertrophy than once weekly, as long as total weekly volume is managed. For example, you could schedule your chest days as Monday and Thursday, Tuesday and Friday, or Wednesday and Saturday. The idea is to allow enough recovery for the muscle to repair and grow before it's hit again. On one day, you can slightly emphasize strength and overload, heavier reps, around 6 to 8. On the other, focus on volume and stretch, working in the 10-15 rep range with shorter rest intervals. That variation keeps both your nervous system and your muscle fibers adapting continuously. AI logic versus human experience. Here's what really impressed me about the AI's reasoning. It understood the three pillars of hypertrophy: mechanical tension, heavy compound lifts; metabolic stress, burnout sets and high-rep finishers; and muscle damage, controlled eccentrics and stretch positions. The program it built covered all of them quite well. Where it fell short, however, was in the practical side of execution. AI doesn't feel shoulder impingement, doesn't know the discomfort of poor bench setup, and doesn't adjust its technique based on anatomy. For example, while it chose incline barbell press for maximum overload, it ignored the fact that for many lifters, dumbbells provide far safer joint angles and a superior range of motion. Similarly, its inclusion of dumbbell flies, while biomechanically logical, didn't consider the risk of overextension or the drop-off in tension near the top of the movement. Machines or cables correct that, providing continuous resistance and much better control. In short, the AI nailed the science but missed some of the human nuance. Can robots really train the perfect chest? So what's the verdict? Did artificial intelligence create the perfect chest workout? Not quite, but it came surprisingly close. The structure was strong. The exercise selection was evidence-based. The reasoning behind intensity techniques and fiber recruitment was logical. However, small details like adjusting exercise angles, equipment choices, and order made a major difference in making the workout safer, more effective, and more sustainable for real-world lifters. That's where human experience still wins. No algorithm can yet account for individual anatomy, injury history, or the subtle feeling of perfect tension in a lift. Those are things you only learn through years of experience under the bar. But here's the good news. When AI logic and human insight work together, the results can be phenomenal. The AI gives structure, data, and scientific reasoning. The human brings feel, instinct, and practical adjustments. Together, they create something close to optimal,